Well, I never thought you were still urinating kwa nguo. My goodness.
This man. I will again be giving keys to another 5,000 Kenyans right here in Nairobi as part of that program, both for social housing and affordable housing.
Melvin amerudi shule. So guys, welcome to Edutainment for Us channel. Today we were so busy I did not make it to do enough live streams, and I have brought another political discussion here, guys. Okay. Yeah, so of course you know very well that there is a lot of bombshell dropping every minute, and Mwangangi has just told Kindiki to tell the people, the business that they are conducting in government currently. So of course, after the screenshots, messages, and M-Pesa statements that were used as that can be used as evidence in court, things are getting hot. And of course, we know that today Gachagua is being called to Citizen to speak about what is happening around here. So that's why I feel like I should also focus on this matter, because it's also a social matter in one way or the other. But meanwhile, today there was a live presentation. Of course, if you didn't get it, let's go through it. Then before that, later after that, we'll be going deep into other stuff. Now, remember here, I do more of social discussions and educational lessons. But for today, I'm digging into something different just because it's also among the social matters, guys. As I also wait for you to suggest for me the aspect that should fall under the packages, membership packages, because I'm yet to find members who will be under that. All right. So let's start with this.
We also seek to work closely with you on the Nairobi River regeneration through the Climate Works program, which is already engaging 45,000 Kenyans in Nairobi in meaningful work to restore ecosystems, clean waters, and create sustainable urban space.
Now, guys, this is something I had also during one of the meetings. There was an environmental day meeting in the government, and I heard the same speech being read by the president. I don't know whether I'm actually mixed up, but I heard that speech when we had the summit. Did you hear? Did you actually listen to the summit whereby many African nations were coming together to talk about environmental protection? And I had the same speech. Unless I'm confused, this is the same speech I'm getting. And I can see the president is actually tensed, or rather anxious, because of the current situation in Kenya. So remember, today it's a D-Day when Gachagua is going to address matters on Citizen. All right. So welcome. Thank you so much for those who have come to the channel, like the video. We are just trying to also ensure that we fill our watch hours. Today I didn't have time to do 3 videos, but I'm trying to compensate because I was handling work, and as students were arriving, I had to actually attend to them first. So I've just come back home, and therefore I'm trying to cover this through this social political aspect, because normally political matters I discuss on Live Saga TV. Z, hello, welcome on the channel, like the video, and I really appreciate your presence here. Thank you so much for your presence. All right, so let's go and listen further. And maybe if you have any idea about what I'm listening to and what I think, then you can also suggest.
This is another program, Your Highness, which is close to our hearts, because apart from cleaning the river, expanding and deepening the river. And the program is also meant to build social housing to make sure that we turn the Nairobi River, which is now the backyard, into the front of what will be a modern city in Nairobi. And again, because of your environmental passion and
the environmental passion Kenyans have, the president is actually giving the banker in the meeting and assuring assuring the foreigners right there in the meeting at State House, you know. And remember, Gachagua had dropped a lot of bombshells while abroad. One of the bombshells was that the Kenyan government has had meetings, secret meetings with members of the Somali group. Benkik, welcome on the channel. Thank you so much, like the video. And we also had the CRC aspect, and that is why he was being actually indicated to be arrested. Okay. Not really. When did you appear to the channel? Because I don't remember you appearing on the channel unless you did yesterday. How soon did you watch my videos? Because of late I've been doing a lot of live streams and I don't remember actually seeing Benkik. But welcome. You are the abusive Beu who said we are poor. Okay. All right. So looking at the discussion right here, we have to look at the situations in Kenya in relation to what's happening and see why the president is actually coming out ballistic about the river and everything to do with that. All right. So thank you. Today you have decided to like the video. The other day you said you don't like my videos. But it's okay. We always invite anybody. Whether you like my videos or not, you are welcome. All right? You're welcome. Because I remember last time you said I've just lost one subscriber. And I was like, it's okay. You know, in this field, we just hustle. We don't even choose who to watch. Anybody can watch because this is an open platform. And if you like the video, it's okay. Thank you and welcome on board. And you can give a thumbs up then, okay? So I was listening at the president and I was like, okay, the president is really repeating a speech that I had at some point. I think it was almost in February there when there was a summit in Kenya that was addressing matters to do with environmental consciousness. And it was at NEMA. I think it was a whole group to do with NEMA. And if you listen to that speech, you see the repetition of that in whatever is being said here. And the president went on to say that Kenyans love the environment, that they're going to work to modernize Nairobi into actually making it a modern and clean situation. And I was like, okay, that would be all right. But then how? Okay. And looking at the president, of course, I saw that he was a bit anxious, but he was, calming situation through his speech. All right. So let me just proceed to listen to a further part of the speech. Then we move to another discussion on Gachagua, guys. Thank you so much.
The Aga Khan has been able to do in Kenya in matters environment. In your leadership in that space, I believe there is scope and room for us to work together in that space. These initiatives are reviving our capital city, providing young people with real employment opportunities.
With your permission, we'll now transition to the signing of two memoranda of understanding. The first one.
Your Highness, on behalf of the government and people of Kenya, I extend my warmest congratulations to you, Your Highness Prince Rahim Al Saini Aga Khan V, upon assuming the esteemed leadership.
All right. So, of course, there was a signing of memorandum of, association that was happening. And no wonder you've seen all those praises happening right there. And I looked at the comment section, looking at what people are saying, and some were saying Ruto confirmed for 2 term. Others were like, yee. Others were like, much English saves none. Others were like, in Kenya also Swahili is a national language. And others were like, Aga Khan is for the rich, not for the poor people. Of course, Aga Khan, both hospital and university are institutions for the rich. We've seen friends work in Aga Khan, by the way, and it's one of the institutions that can even further your studies. If you are a teacher there, you will progress to a master's and PhD under their, sponsorship. They also offer, medicine, medication, and of course you must have a very heavy insurance for you to be treated right there. We have so many hospitals in many towns in Kenya, but the reality is that not everybody can be treated at Aga Khan, because I've seen the Mombasa Aga Khan, I've seen the Nairobi Aga Khan, and Eldoret and all that, and they have schools in all those places, and they are places for the rich, okay? So let's proceed to another different aspect, because today we have the real bombshells in the house, all right? Okay, so thank you so much. Welcome on board, and thank you for the 2 likes as we go down the live stream. All right, I'm going to mute the mic a bit as I look for something here, but you can continue coming and chatting here. All right, hello Kelly Sharp, welcome to the platform. And let's just go through some few historical moments of Rigathi. Of course, Rigathi has been a pain to some people while he was in US. And if you can remember very well, some of the things he said included this. And Malala indicated that today, that is Tuesday, he will be having an address. Let's begin with Malala's indication before we go to the rest.
Happy to him, he's in good health. This is not just another political appearance. It follows weeks of tension, a dramatic return from the United States, and allegations of... Officially, we will be staging our party leader on Tuesday. He will speak to the nation. We will invite everybody to listen to him. And we are confident that nothing will happen to him. He's in good health. This is not just another political appearance.
So guys, that is where we start from, Teresa. All right, so welcome on board. I have 3 likes now. Thank you so much. Kelly Sharp, welcome to the platform. Of course, Malala indicated that today is a D-Day when Gachagua will be addressing the nation. Now, what is expected? From what we saw abroad, and the reception, of course, I'll be playing some clips right here. And remember that Murkomen had threatened to arrest, and Kindiki also supported him to arrest Gachagua, and Sudi had supported the same. All right? So it came out clearly that they were a bit scared, or they thought they should handle, Gachagua, tame him a bit, because he goes on speaking, he cannot be stopped, He cannot be stopped. So they felt like the only way to stop him is to arrest him when he arrived. But then, the turn of events, it happened that while he was arriving, there were some corruption arguments and battles that were going on in government. So there was no room again to divert that attention and fight for another space for the opposition. And again, I think they thought very well that if they do arrest Gachagua, they were going to give him a social space, a wider social space, that people would actually have gone around maybe, into a rampage and all that would have given him a mileage. So when you look at the social angles, then you realize that that was particularly what restrained the government from arresting Gachagua. Now, why would they think of citizen? Why would citizen want to have Gachagua address them? Remember, currently, corruption is on its spot. Now, with the messages and WhatsApp clips and all that having come out leaked yesterday, it becomes an explosive claim on Gachagua's end, because Gachagua is going out and he may now come out to speak, because he once said that he only tells the truth. Now, let's just play some clips here to remind ourselves on this. Let's play this. Let me just check on something here. The commercial break right here.
Regarding Gachagua, it is that his sharp tongue has always been his greatest political, the truthful man to
Kama serikali ni wizi tupu. Sasa what is there to defend? I want to say this. For the deaths occurring in Sudan, the real commander of RSF is not Hemet, it's William RUTO, because for a movement to succeed, it needs money. The money from gold is being cleaned from Kenya to buy arms, to go and kill women and children. That housing, initially we believed in the president. That ni yakuleta ajira, nini, maneno kizungu mingi, we looked okay. Until it came to my attention, it has nothing to do with housing.
But now, the country is...
All right, so Lucy, welcome on the platform. Today I've decided to do a political analysis because I didn't have time to do the lesson and also to go through the Nyabohanze stuff. I did Nyabohanze stuff in the morning, and we'll be doing, now that we have open schools, it may be a bit difficult for me to have a specific time. So I decided that this evening I'll be doing something socio-political, because we are in Kenya and we are facing a lot of, saga, a lot of saga. So I thought about it and said, all right, this is a social journey, So thank you so much, Lucy, for coming on board, and welcome here. So, guys, when we look at the situations in Kenya currently, people are actually suffering. Students have gone back to school, but most of them don't have fee. They don't have school fees. And when you look around Gachagua has been dropping a bomb after bomb. At the beginning, we just thought that he was an annoyed, a bitter person. But then the MPs came out after the president had dropped a bombshell, and they had to agree that indeed some things have been going on. Robert Oliveira, hi, and welcome on the platform. You can give us a like, and I really appreciate your presence here always. Okay, thank you so much for coming here, and thank you for the like. So let's go down to the political journey for today, although it's a social matter too, because I like doing social matters here, and elsewhere I do political, but now today I feel like I should just do the political here because of the situation, guys. All right. So I just thought about what we expect today from Gachagua, and that is why I'm here. Okay, and I've been watching a lot of videos in relation to the political temperatures, and the fact that we have even a Pastor John C.W. Pastor Joy W. spoke in a church, and I want to play a clip here. And immediately after that, he was almost killed. Okay, he was almost killed. Lucy says the opposition needs to stick together if they want to Kenya to change. Indeed, because we are seeing this politics whereby we have Maraga coming up, Matiang'i coming up, we see Natembea coming up, we see Kalonzo coming up, then we see Martha Karua, then we see Gachagua, and I'm like, what is what? Are we so serious about changing Kenya, or do we have some who are malls? Do we have someone to be bought? Because that is the situation in Kenya sometimes. You may think that people are on the same goal, reading the same script, focusing to change Kenya, when some just want to actually trade themselves. And we have some cases whereby they have pointed out Natembea. I'm not so sure about it, but people have pointed out that he's there to sell himself. I hope it's a propaganda. We can never know. They're also talking about the aspect of Maraga actually wanting to vie for presidential seat. At the same time, we have Matiang'i from the same region, in fact. And we are like, are you serious? Or is there one candidate who want to compromise the situation? And of course, people started talking about Matiang'i, saying that in case Uhuru Kenyatta comes to the government, they'll be easily going through the government. And we're like, we hope not. Now, when you look at Freestyle High, thank you so much and welcome to the house. You look at the situation of, you know, when you look at what Kinyua says, you do not understand, because there's an allegation he made recently. He was talking about Matiang'i, and he was saying that he seems to be a project, okay? And I'm like seriously, is he a project? Because these are some things you don't know whether it's propaganda, we don't know whether it's real, you know. But step by step, we hope that things will be open. Because how do you find health facilities? For example, what we saw yesterday, Edwin Duale is actually one of the person who has been, you know, pointed out to have used that hospital in from Northeastern to milk and get a lot of money from SHA. So it comes out that there's selective service provision, you know. And this is a question that is a social matter, because all of us, when we are unwell, we can't do anything. We cannot go to work, we cannot earn, we cannot survive. But now SHA is being considered a cow cash, you know. Look at that. Now, before we just proceed, let's to look at the situation of Pastor John C.W. Let's see this.
It could cost you your freedom, your safety, even your life. They took a pistol and pointed it at me. Ask Pastor John C.W., a former advisor to RUTO. Pistol and pointed it at me. Ask Pastor John C.W. happens when you dare to speak out against power. And I need to say this directly to the President of Kenya and to the leaders of this nation. Stop saying that, oh, you know, I saw the other day say, we have built houses, we have done what? Corruption plus anything equals to corruption. Corruption plus good governance is corruption. Corruption plus affordable housing is corruption. Corruption plus SHA is corruption.
Karen Wansa, welcome.
And there is corruption in that institution. It's still corruption. During a recent church service, the pastor laid it bare. He revealed how Christians are not only targeted by the state, but Yona mtu ambaye anapinga altar, unless you are an antichrist at this particular time. It's not about building. And then the pastor cannot understand. You know, sometimes I look at our pastors, I'm like, truly. You see how...
Later, Wog. Yeah, so there was some disconnection, and obviously it affects my camera visibility. I can't see the charts, okay? So I hope you'll understand sometimes if I take time to recognize who is coming. But we had Karen Wansa, and I was saying thank you so much and welcome on board, Karen Wansa. So I cannot see the charts currently, but I'll be checking on the computer just in a meantime. Okay, so you've seen Pastor John C.W. Okay, and when you look at that pastor, he's complaining bitterly, almost crying. Look at that face. Look at that face here. Almost crying. Because of the tribulation that have been moved from political space to the church. And that's why I had to discuss this here, because I believe it's a social matter and it affects lots of people. The critics have a trouble. All right. So Pastor John C.W. was ambushed after speaking against the president, guys. Let's look at this.
Some people are rubbed the wrong way. What did I do? We can no longer trust pastors. Any invitation I have from today, I cancel it. We can no longer trust pastors. That you can set up a conference to trap me for an arrest. What did I do? I preach Jesus. Jesus Christ is Lord. take us wherever you want to take us. If you can, do it.
And that was just one episode in a dangerous pattern. Pastor John C.W. says spy.
Commercial break. Commercial break again. Commercial break.
Just have 1,000 shillings.
Can I go manage
If you make,
please?
let's say you make a mistake, which one is more money? To run away from the mistake or to face your mistake and correct it? Assuming that you say we made a mistake according to you, you should honor people that are standing to correct that mistake. It's not easy to speak because John the Baptist lost his head. Pastors keep calling me and say, you are not afraid. Afraid of what? I speak for no man. Do you know how many people have tried to call me privately to join them? Proof here. How many people have tried? Do you know how much money
They are willing to
I have
give you.
said no to? Money. I've said no to.
Why would they want to give it such an amount of money?
All right. So during an interview, of course, C.W. John Pastor came up to share how they tried to actually ambush him and arrested him. And it was through a summit that was organized by one of them. That is one of the pastors. And that is why I always say that political aspects will always come to your door. When anything political happens in a nation, it affects the social life, the economic life, and anything else that is surrounding you. Now, I just hope, just as Lucy has said there, we hope that the momentum that Gachagua has picked will run up to 2026, 2027, that is. And we hope that the rest of the opposition will be joining hands here so that we see a revolution, or rather a change that is positive. All right? However, we are not so sure because now look at this. Look at what John C.W. is sharing. From his testimony here, you keenly, or you clearly see, yeah? You clearly see that things are not very light. It's not easy. It's not easy. Yeah? So, people have been talking about Natembea. They have been talking about Kalonzo Musyoka. They have been talking about the other person. Eugene, of course, there was a kind of battle between Eugene and Natembea. And people are like, yeah, that war is coming up because Natembea wants to go away to the government. You know, anything can happen. And you've seen actually scenes whereby they are trying to prove that by showing how Murkomen came to visit Natembea. The fact that the very closest person to Natembea actually gave information indicating that they would never dare to go and receive Gachagua when he was coming back. You've also seen the meeting that happened after Murkomen went to Kitale. And when they were trying to talk about, when they are talking about the issue of Kisii position, we saw again someone who appointed Matiang coming out and saying he's a project, and we are like, really? Although he came out to dispute that and say that that was something that somebody had just pointed out, but words that are said are very difficult to erase. How do you erase such words? You already said it. How do you erase it? All right? So you can see from Pastor John C.W. that any criticism on the government is not condoned. Now, currently, at least it can be condoned because, or rather, nobody will act very swiftly because we've had wars within the government. Now, let's look at this. There's something here. There's something here that I watched. Let me check out this one here. My goodness.
For God.
Did you give me
anything. Swear before God, I'm not the one who was doing it. I'm not liquidated. See, you said we are not liquidated. So I'm not liquidated. This guy actually if I was, I would have given it to you. So don't say I'm frustrated. Swear before God, Senator Tabitha and people, that you, Senator Tabitha Mutinda, did not receive 10 million Kenya shillings. I, Senator, did not receive anything. Say in the name of God. Yes. Don't say yes, say in the name of God. Just manage your frustrations.
Hey, guys, things are not very easy. The bombshells that are dropping are very serious. And if you've listened to Babu Owino also, you heard what you heard. Babu Owino was actually asking, where did that money come from? And why can't the president clean his house before he can come before the Senate and try to accuse any of them? You know? And looking at that, I remember yesterday I talked about this, but it's coming up again. Look at this.
Million irregular. The owner or co-founder.
I want you to look at this one. This Ladnan hospital, and of course, the CEO of SHA is accused of owning Ladnan hospital. I think I played it yesterday. It's only that I can't reach it very fast.
Others are higher. So, which means we are...
All right, I may not show it, but I had clips of Lednan Hospital, which is owned by a CEO of SHA. And they had paid themselves almost 53 million Kenyan shillings, guys. 53 whooping million Kenyan shillings. Can you imagine? And to add on that, when you talk about Kimani Ichung'wah, how did he manage to borrow from the corridors of parliament, as he said, 150 million Kenyan shillings? All right, let's turn to listen to the president here.
Way below, our taxes are way below those of our peers, you know. And I'm not comparing ourselves with OECD countries, you know, countries like...
Now, you remember, before the president was actually put in power, what he told people was very different, you know. He told Kenyans that it's going to make life so easy for them.
Doing to the people and the economy of Kenya. Kwa hii taxes wanaongeza usiku na mchana. Na mimi nataka niwaulize watu wa hapa Manga. Tafadhali, mkiona tumesimama hapa mbele yenu, tunawaambia kwamba tutengeneze hiyo serikali inakuja ambayo inaelewa lugha ya mwananchi wa kawaida. And then tomorrow...
Looking at that, you realize that there is some insanity here. A high level of insanity, because you cannot tell the people that I'm going to better your lives by reducing tax. Then when you come in, even before 2 years, you're already hiking the taxes, and now you are comparing yourself to other developed countries and saying that your taxes are a little lower. They are not up to the level of the other country, guys. You know? Now, we heard about the impeachment aspect, all right? And I want us to go back to the what this guy said. He said that they are going to bite.
We're just waiting for Wetangula and his colleagues to come.
He said that they are going to bite. Let me hear this.
As I speak, there is table essential motion. It is before you, Honorable Speaker. It's coming. We must now take our rightful position as a National Assembly.
You know, bringing an impeachment motion against a deputy president.
All right, so if you normally watch the news, of course it happened. I remember that day I took the clip of that and showed it on my other channel, guys. And the reality is that this guy stood in parliament talking about the censor motion. But then whatever they aim to do is to impeach. And impeachment is not easy. Impeachment of a president is not like the impeachment of a president, because when you look at Mutusa, of course, was financed by the government. And as we know clearly, we have heard now that almost 10 million shillings was used in the impeachment process of Gachagua. That is what has come out in the yesterday's leaked messages, and some of them which we read here. I think in the yesterday's video when I was doing the analysis. Now remember, the person who tried to impeach a president and failed was Malala. Now, when you check the videos back then, you realize that Malala had even to cry in parliament because his life was at risk, you know. He was not safe at all, even in his home. He was not safe at all. And he had to go cry in parliament because things were running down for him. Now, I want to ask you, maybe if you have an idea, who do you think can actually follow this? Maybe the guy who stood there and talked about biting, he may do it, but then how safe is he? Are the rest of the people going to ensure that they protect him, or will he stay in parliament all the time so that he can ensure that the impeachment process goes on? Now, the government has the tools because it has the money, it has the power, and it has guys like Sudi and Farouk. I don't know if you've heard of late what the Iron Lady has actually raised over Farouk and Sabina Shege and all that, and Karen Nyam. Have you heard about it? If you've not, I'll be checking on that in a meantime, because we're left with about 24 minutes, so I'll be checking on it. Let me just click back to the videos and show you something. All right. So the conmanship that we are seeing in government, and even the proposals now, people coming out with the suggestion that we should have an extended time limit. Those extensions have been mentioned several times. We heard for the first time it was mentioned, is it in Pokot, and later on it has come out and out again and again. All right, the seeking of extension of the term limit has been a common aspect, and I don't know how or who will stop it, but let's look into it.
Tomorrow morning.
Peter.
We're kicking off the chair yoga challenge for beginners.
Referendum pamoja na election to
Elected cycle.
10, almost 15 years. Basi, if there are issues, na mimi nataka nilishukuru sana Rais William Ruto kwa ile mambo mengi umefanya in the last 2 years. Remarkable progress of this country. Basi, tuanze kubadilisha basi constitution ya Kenya hii. Kama kuna mambo yenye ni mbaya, tuirekebishe sasa. Kwa sababu juzi tulikuwa tunaeleza.
It's so funny, right? So funny. It's quite funny. Such a suggestion that is happening. I don't know whether you watch Cote d'Ivoire. How many of you watch Cote d'Ivoire, Cameroon, and then Uganda? These are some of the countries that have tried to actually change the constitution. And recently we had a very serious situation in Cameroon, or was it Cote d'Ivoire, whereby the people had to go to the streets because they felt like their rights are being violated when the president tries to change the constitution. And we have people who come out to suggest that because they are beneficiaries of the system. For them, they don't give a damn about what is happening to the rest of the people. All they care is that they will still have a grace period to continue, eating and eating. Now, Gachagua is actually going to address the nation, and I'll be sharing that tomorrow. But currently, of course, we suspect that we will be addressing matters, as you've heard, matters to do with the corruption, which has come out bulging day after day. And we've seen the war between the MPs and the senators, and on the opposite are a bit of governors who have been protected by Raila and Ruto, and the president himself, actually, with the leakages that have come out. And of course, we know very well in the entire battle we have allies and those who are fighting. Now, they are not fighting because they want to safeguard the citizens. Maybe there are few, I don't know, I'm not so sure, because some again came up and said that they didn't know anything to do with that money that was shared. Of course, you've seen the discussion while I was playing the other clip on matters to do with the people who are bribed at once. I'm just looking at some video I checked during the day. There was some video I checked during the day that was messy, showing up some gray areas here and there. I'm trying to check on it. I don't know whether I'll find it. If I don't find it, then we'll just be talking about it. Where is this? Okay, the many videos I watched during the day. I think there's this one here. Yeah, anyways, the the reality of the matter is that the war that is going on will have to be one of the topics Gachagua will be discussing and focusing on corruption, because he once talked about it. And people were like thinking that he's just a bitter impeached individual. I remember I did the first analysis on the other channel, and people are like, of course, it is obvious for someone bitter to respond in that way. You know, we never thought there'll be a day when the president will come out to point out that you are corrupt. And then the MPs are like, you are corrupt. And then leaked messages now come out. We never knew of that, you know. Anyway, you're supposed to put on the trouser. It's called, okay? Yeah, so we never expected that kind of mayhem. We never expected that kind of mayhem or hula baloo in government, all right? But then it has happened. Who knew that this will happen? But then I'm wondering, how true is it that they are going to bite as they have threatened? Is it a mere threat so that they can now switch allegiances? Because the reality is that we have those who are guilty, they have been receiving money. They are on the forefront to actually do things in the crappy way, you know. They are there to safeguard their own position and not the position of the citizens. And also, why did they not talk about it when it was, you know, Onyonka is the only person I used to hear talk about this. Of late, we had Sifuna talking about it. But all along, they never used to talk about corruption until recently, when things were hot and they were being blamed for everything. They were being blamed of extortion. That is when we've had anything coming up now. These ghost hospitals are now coming up, you know. The leaks on messages about what happened during the impeachment process are coming up. Now, Gachagua is going to drop a bombshell. Inionyesha. Hainionyeshi. Sasa wewe unaonyesha ukuta. Sitaki onyesha kwa mlango. Wewe unakataza usivae rinda au umekazana. Nataka uvae leo, kuna baridi. It's so cold.
Okay. Green.
Yeah, just put on a trouser because it's cold. Very cold. All right. So let's proceed. I was handling a baby here. So, guys, if you ever had, there's a time where Tangula was very vocal, and I want us to look at what he said.
This replaces all their glasses.
He really talked a lot.
Glasses,
Let's skip that commercial break.
Today, miss me with that. I broke it down in seasons because
What
we've
is
been
this?
here before. Has ODM, nobody was invited, yours truly, and Mutola Kilonzo Jr., Senator from Makueni, and Petronila Were, nominated Senator of ANC, and Senator James Orengo of ODM, came from the PG of NASA. And a PG of NASA is not a PG of ODM, and a PG of ODM is not a PG of NASA. Mr. Speaker, NASA is a coalition. Nobody was invited to join NASA. We formed NASA. And I want to tell my colleagues, because Mr. Speaker, I have had this communication from the chair after being informed and now.
Okay, so if you remember that speech, there was a very long speech from Masika Moses Wetangula. He was giving a lecture to Raila. And, okay, he was warning about his removal. Now, currently, of course, people believe that Wetangula is going to be removed from the speaker seat as a result of what happened currently after the anti-fraud law was actually worked against, and Kimani Ichung'wah too, as the majority leader. So the reality is that Wetangula, if you remember that speech that he gave to Raila Odinga, it tells us something about what he believes, that ODM is just not ODM but NASA. you know. And he had to talk to just show the power of NASA and also show the power of the individuals in government and all that, all right? It's a very long speech if I had to play it. But the reality is that you remember on Friday, EACC, the EACC had to actually raid the home of Wetangula to check on him and see whether he is guilty of corruption, all right? And so far, we don't have the results anymore. We also heard that Kimani Ichung'wah will be investigated, right? We heard that, and we are waiting also for the results. But then, in my thought, I just think that these are battles, small battles to threaten each other and make each other intimidated, and maybe they keep quiet about it. So I think their weapon will be the opposition. And the opposition that is very strong currently comes out of Gachagua. You remember when Gachagua left the country, after that, we had even a plan by Matiang'i to go to Meru. It did not really come out very strongly. Kiambu, there was something there was a kind of attack. There was another meeting where, yeah, it has not been coming out strongly, like holding the highlights in the newspapers. Now from today, after that address, and I know it's this night, when we go listen to it and see what he'll say, I know it will be going to cause a lot of chaos and actually the highlights in the newspapers, you know? Okay?
For his most anticipated words yet.
Let's see this.
As anything, it is that he won't hold back. But this story is not just about JK.
You have removed the requirement for vetting of non-Kenyans before they are given IDs. The Americans are concerned.
During his US tour,
Yeah, so that is one of the questions he raised while in the US.
Why you are working with Al-Shabaab?
And he also raised this.
as the statesman, it is about the bigger revelations he dropped while abroad.
So you need to know, the Americans want to know why you are working with Al-Shabaab. Why, when you are in Mandera, you met 3 leaders of the Al-Shabaab militia at night to discuss business with them. They want to know why.
And guys, this is not the first time. That was not the first time that Gachagua was raising this matter. He did that on a show. Was it Obina show? He did that. He also raised another accusation just after impeachment. I remember when he left hospital, if you're keen about it. Okay? So, I am really anticipating a lot of bombshell from him, whereby he'll be revealing a lot of secrets, pouring a lot of chaos and explosive claims while he's doing the state address. Let me just check on something here. Just give me some minutes. And all that's water. Let's check on this. And I really appreciate I have about 8 likes. Thank you so much.
Is the return of the DCP party leaders happening today? What time is it? And also, the Interior Ministry has said that they will not allow unsanctioned meetings. Why?
The king is coming. We are 6 hours. We are 6 hours away. And we have organized. The king is coming. We have organized a majestic reception for the king. And I had PS
kings are only used for dictators.
that they will not sanction any function that has not approved by Constitution. Guarantees us the freedom of assembly. There is nowhere in the borders of our Constitution which gives the CS mandate to give us permission to assemble. The only requirement is to notify them.
All right, so during daybreak, this was one of the interviews that Malala, Cleophas Malala, of course, you understand, he's very vocal in DCP. So he was being asked on daybreak under Citizen whether they are going to hold a meeting and assemble. And he indicated that on return, it will be indicated and it will be conducted. All right. And on the table, he came out claiming,
He's a student of literature.
Claiming that, Gachagua will have to address the nation. Now, remember, Gachagua was a student of literature and he has done poems according to him. Okay? And police warned against unauthorized gatherings, so we don't know whether they'll be attacked because remember, there was a meeting that was in Kakamega in, was it June? And they were really attacked. The other recent meeting was held in almost near Kiambu there. They were also attacked. Now, citizens have decided before any attack, they are going to actually meet Gachagua and have an interview. Maybe just drop the comments what you expect that they'll be going to hold on, because I've watched a lot of things until I do not know what to speak about and what to leave alone, okay? I do not know, but let's just see this also. Let's see this.
Stop taking meeting notes and let ClickUp AI Note Taker do it for you. It allows you to focus on your meetings, not your notes. It
The commercial breaks.
Mary Canyon.
Our reporter, Haman.
With more questions than answers. Many were shocked by the evidence presented.
I will demonstrate with affidavits. I will demonstrate with documents.
Then came the 2024 Finance Bill, the one that sparked nationwide protest across the country. Kenyans rejected it, but most MPs insisted it must pass. The leaked messages in our possession suggest that MPs have chosen to be mere puppets of President William Ruto. When he says jump, they don't ask why, they say how high. President William Ruto is seen sending a WhatsApp message to the MPs at 10:14 p.m., instructing them to approve the nomination of Professor Kithure Kindiki as Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. He says, and I quote, "Teammates, we thank our Almighty God for bringing us this far. We trust God in all situations and commit our nation to Him. I have just forwarded the name of my nominee. Hate of GNZ protest, we managed to slow down internet and that saved the day. You cannot do that with Starlink. A clear sign of collusion." In another instance, Governor Irungu Kang'ata congratulates the president for appointing Professor Kithure Kindiki as deputy president after Gachagua's removal. And this, according to lawyer Kiroko Ndegwa, this shows that parliament has been captured.
We have a parliament that is full of bunch of rent seekers who cannot survive by their principle. They need a favor here, a favor there, and no wonder why even they are willing to reduce that house by sexualizing everything.
Hey, can you hear that? The sharp criticism on parliament. It's not me talking, right? So we've seen that when a parliament turns into puppets, when MPs, senators, governors turn into puppets and start to just operate on favors, operate on what they want, operate on what they really actually not really went to serve, but what they want to serve themselves with. It turns into a very bad house. And Guys, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at Fathers of Nation and also the Samaritan that we are currently teaching in high school, it tells us all this, you know. John Lara tells us all this, that we have a leadership which is selfish, which is, you know, which is full of corruption. Corruption happening in several ways, whether it's by manipulation, whether it's siphoning, whether it's, fraud, whether it is deals, whether it is, what do we call, a fraud. We have impersonification, favorism, nepotism, all those bribery, state capture, all those forms are happening around us. And these people, they are not pure. As far as they are threatening to impeach the president, they are not pure. So I think that the best thing is that citizens are seeing. And citizens, if citizens will be sane enough not to sell their votes in order to get another mediocrity or mediocre leadership, the only thing they can do is to decide that they'll not vote back any leader who has been mentioned in the corrupt aspect that we have seen. If they bring money around, people can eat, but let them not vote them back. They can actually decide to do the opposite, and we will be sane, we will be safe. Because we have the power. We as citizens, we have the power. We have the vote. So what becomes so difficult for us to change everything? And maybe support those people who are real clean. I know that it may be so difficult to get the clean people. But at least get some people who believe in having a clean nation, selfless, people with integrity, so that we don't have this impunity covering corruption and poverty continuing to, to loom around us. And I think the other day I had this argument about empowering those people who are abroad. In fact, I know families who are abroad work so hard to fend for their families back in Kenya. If these people can have the right knowledge and inform their people back at home, tell them that even if people bring the sugar, they can tie it, they can take it, but it's not necessary that they vote for those people. Because we have had a recycling of mediocrity in Kenya for a long time, whereby you'll find an MC who does not even do the roads. The roads are very poor. They look like a piece of land that has to invite the plantations of, the sugarcane plantation or Napier grass plantation or banana for that case. But they are voted in year and out. So they go for 5 years, they develop themselves, 5 years, develop. But they are leaving citizens back to nothing. But it's a very difficult discussion. However, I saw something on TikTok. I can't retrace it. But I saw someone who was trying to sensitize, actually do voter education, something that doesn't happen in Kenya. Like, do people know even why they vote for leaders? Or do you vote for leaders because you got a 1 kg of sugar? 1 kg of sugar that's going to bury you for the 5 years. You suffer like currently in Kenya, people are suffering, So it's a hard discussion, but as you can see all along, we are going to watch Rigiji, and I'm going to do an analysis tomorrow on the same, but then I know there's a bombshell that's going to drop on RUTO and his allies, because we've seen clearly. Yeah, I saw another video again on Adan Duale and RUTO, and it seems that agreement to pay 53 million shillings to that hospital that we saw in the video is a clear indication that there is an agreement that was going on. Yeah. So let's just end this, but it's a serious discussion, and thank you so much for coming here. I really appreciate it.